Money FM 89.3, the best of Saturday mornings. Singapore Home Brew on Money FM 89.3.
One of Broadway's biggest musicals has arrived in Singapore. Wicked is now playing at the Sands Theatre at Marina Bay Sands. I have to say, I went along and saw it on Thursday with my daughter. It was magnificent. It's the winner of over 100 major awards, including the Grammy Award, the Olivier Award, 3 Tony Awards. Everybody knows the story. It's essentially what happened before Dorothy dropped in to the land of Oz, with those 2 other young women vying for centre stage. Which one is good? Which one is wicked? It's up for the audience to decide. But helping us to decide, with a little help from Todd Jacobsson. He's an actor on the stage in Wicked right now at the Sands Theatre, and he's joining us on the phone now. Hello, Todd.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me today.
It's an absolute pleasure. Right, it's a blockbuster, Wicked. It's played out and sold out all over the world. Just had an Oscar-winning movie made with Ariana Grande. Give us an overview. What is Wicked about? What makes it so special, Todd?
Yes, well, you said it so well before, but Wicked is the untold true story of the Witches of Oz. I feel like The Wizard of Oz is such a global phenomenon, that film. You know, no matter what country you're from, you are so aware of the impact that that's had within society and your memory as a child. But now for the first time, you get to see that story, but from someone else's perspective. You know, our amazing director, Joe Mantello, describes Wicked as it's like if you held a camera on the Wizard of Oz and just moved it to the right. You get to see the story of these 2 witches, you know, one Glinda the Good and one Elphaba, who we think is a wicked witch. But in this musical, we get to see exactly why and how she became wicked. It's an incredible show.
Brilliant stuff, brilliant stuff. And what do you think has made Wicked such a global phenomenon? Because it's resonated all over the world.
It has resonated all over the world. I think, like I said before, you know, The Wizard of Oz is so embedded in American culture especially, and internationally with things like Judy Garland and Somewhere Over the Rainbow. But the show really focuses on things like, you know, true friendship and the relationships between 2 women, which is rarely depicted, you know, in musicals these days. Inclusivity, zero tolerance for bullying. Elphaba is really the outsider, and it's something that I think, you know, no matter how theatrical the story is and how heightened the stakes are, there's at the truth of it, it's something that everyone can relate to, you know, maybe feeling different or feeling ostracized. I think it's something that, you know, like I said, everyone can relate to it, and it's familiar, you know. It's an IP that people know and love, but they get to see it from a new side, which always excites people. You know, prequels and sequels are huge now, and I think Wicked has just done it so well.
And it's so well done, isn't it? The way they interweave the narrative, particularly in the second act, I'm not giving anything away, with the classic movie The Wizard of Oz. I just think that's so impressive. And your timing is very good, of course, because you're arriving here just after the box office and award-winning success of the movie Wicked. I have to ask you, Todd, what did you make of the movie?
Oh, I think, you know, the world's response to the film was pretty obvious in that it was absolutely amazing. You know, and it's a really special time to be in the musical, because to be doing this every night whilst the rest of the world is experiencing this global phenomenon of Wicked, it's almost become, you know, a mania now. The rest of the world loves the movie so much. They are now, you know, it's the best time to come and see the show, because, of course, in the film you're seeing what we do is Act 1, and that is the whole film. But now, well, you know, the audiences are rushing in to see what happens next, of course. It's just been the best time to be in the musical. It's incredible.
That's so true, Todd. That is so true. I took my daughter along, and because she's seen the movie and she's watched clips on YouTube, she was tapping my leg. This song is coming. This song is coming. The expectation, the excitement was there. And, you know, not wishing to embarrass you, but the night I saw it on Thursday, it was an amazing, spontaneous standing ovation at the end. And let me tell you, Todd, Singapore audiences do not generally give standing ovations freely. So that is a testament to how popular the musical is. I mean, have you noticed any changes in interest or popularity or even audience response since the movie came out?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. The thing with Wicked is it's been running on Broadway, you know, for so long now, and it's always been one of the biggest selling shows globally. So the audience for Wicked has always been there, and the fan base has always been there. But now, all of a sudden, you know, I think the cast, personally, we're seeing a younger audience wanting to come to the theatre now, and we're seeing people who've seen the film, and they're, like I said, they're wanting to know what happens next. But there is now a love and an expectation that they already have. They've seen the story on screen, but to experience it live in front of you is just something else. You know, the performances that Ariana and Cynthia gave in the film were, you know, Academy Award nominated, but to then come and sit there and experience the whole story in front of you for 3 hours, I just don't think anything can live up to that.
Well, my daughter is nodding along furiously, Todd, at everything you're saying. we're talking to Todd. Yeah, we're talking to Todd Jacobsson, actor in Wicked. Let's talk a bit about you now, Todd. What's your journey? I mean, I know you grew up in a relatively small town in Australia called Ballarat, a great part of the world, Ballarat, Australia. I lived in Geelong for a while, not too far away. So how does a guy from Ballarat end up on the Sands Theatre stage in Singapore?
I know it does sound a bit absurd, but like you said, I grew up in a small country town about an hour outside of Melbourne, Australia, called Ballarat. And growing up there, I actually remember going to see my cousin in a performance of The Wizard of Oz. So it all starts with, you know, something Wicked related, of course. And I went and saw her perform in that, and I just remember getting that bug as a child, seeing someone my age, especially, and someone that I knew up on stage singing and dancing and getting that attention and admiration and just seeing the joy that they felt and the joy that I felt, I thought, oh, I have to give that a go. So the next show I auditioned for, you know, at age 10 or so, and really since then, I've done nothing but musical theatre because it's been my absolute passion. I remember I went down to Melbourne for my 13th birthday. My mother took me down and we went to see The Phantom of the Opera. And she turned to me afterwards and said, isn't it amazing that these people do this for their job? And up until that point, I had never made the connection that, you know, people do this professionally and they get paid to do it. So once I figured that out, something in my brain just switched. And ever since then, I made my life purpose to be doing musical theatre. And I've been really, really lucky that since then, I haven't made a dime doing anything else.
It's wonderful. I'm looking at your bio, Todd. International tours of West Side Story. You've did a national tour in Australia of Hairspray. You've also been a part of Guys and Dolls, The Book of Mormon, The Pirates of Penzance. I mean, what have been some of your personal highlights, whether it's playing to family or friends or celebrities or just particular musicals you liked? What are some of your career highlights so far?
Yeah, like you said, you know, no two musicals are the same, which is really amazing in this art form. So doing things like, you know, my first big show was The Book of Mormon, which was incredible, and it was such a big show in Australia at the time. But getting to do, I think I saw Wicked, you know, when I was about 13 or 14 in Australia when it originally came to the country. So it's a pretty cool full circle moment now to be doing the show. Not only in Australia, but internationally. And I have to say, one of the highlights was our opening night, just the other night here in Singapore, because we've been so familiar with how Australian audiences react to the show, which has always been phenomenal. But, you know, coming from somewhere else, I think we were a little bit unaware of, well, are the audiences going to react here? Are they going to be a little more polite? Are they going to be a little more raucous? So once we got to the end of that opening night and the whole audience was standing, it was just incredible. I think that's definitely a night that I'll never forget.
Yes, indeed. And my daughter has just said off air, I was one of them. So was I. I gave a standing ovation as well. I was up as well. Let's get it right. Let's get it right. Oh, that is just so fabulous. What is it? What is it, Todd? What is it about musical theatre that resonates with different generations, different cultures all over the world? I always joke that there's two musicals. There's Oliver and there's everything else. Only because I saw Oliver first, at a very key moment in my life, and I grew up in East London and that kind of thing. I adore musical theatres. Yeah. I've seen everything. Jersey Boys, Mamma Mia, Oliver, Buddy, Wicked. I love musical theatre. I always have. What is it about that genre that is so popular?
I think it's globally it's such a popular thing because we love art. I think the world loves art, and we need art sometimes to escape from the issues of life or your everyday things. And a movie can do so much. You can sit down for 2 hours and see your favorite actors on screen and get immersed in a story. But I think going to the theatre is such an experience, and it's such a night out. Sit down for 3 hours and completely forget all your worries and all your troubles and just be immersed in live entertainment is really unlike anything else. And I think, storytelling is something that we all love and that we all do inherently. Whether you know it, whether you know that you're doing it or you're not, it's something that we're drawn to. And we like to lose ourselves, I think. In 2025, the world's not getting any easier, and it's really, really nice to switch off, to go and sit down and just be entertained and to feel things. It's a really, really cool thing to be the person that gets to do that. But I think the world is loving musicals now almost more than ever.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So I went to it on Thursday night, as I said, with my daughter. She's going back again with her mother on Tuesday. So she's seeing it.
Oh, amazing.
She's seeing it twice in 5 days. That's the impact it's had on my daughter. She absolutely loves it. What about you, Todd? What has been, in your career so far, some of your favourite performances, or more fun, the most nerve-wracking performance you've ever given?
Yeah, that's a great question. In Wicked, I am an understudy, which means, I perform every night in the ensemble, 8 shows a week. But then, under circumstances, if I understudy the role of Fiyero, the Winky Prince, and if, for some reason, the fabulous Liam, who plays the role, is sick or unwell or, can't be at that performance, I then get to step up and play that role. And I actually did earlier in the week. I played Fiyero on Tuesday and Wednesday night. That was a really nerve-wracking experience because, one, I was in a new country with a new audience. Two, I hadn't done it for about, I want to say, 3 to 4 months, and also our entire Broadway creative team was here. Lisa Laguio and Corinne McFadden Herrera was also here, our associate choreographer. And these were people that created this piece of theatre, well over 20 years ago. So to get to present that with having them watching was an experience I will never forget. That was probably one of the, most nerve-wracking and memorable, times I've got to perform on stage.
Oh, fabulous. Well, you're about to have another nerve-wracking moment because my daughter insists that she asks you a question, and it's going to be the toughest, most journalistic question you're ever going to get in your life.
Please.
Todd Jacobsson, star of Wicked. Abby Rose, what is your question?
Hi, what's your favourite song in Wicked?
I told you it'd be a tough one. I told you it'd be a tough one.
Hey, it's a big one. It's a big one. I think, and this is a very stereotypical answer here, but throughout the 3 hours of the show, Stephen Schwartz has written some amazing music, but the Act 1 finale of Defying Gravity, I'm going to be biased here, and I think that is the best Act 1 finale in any musical of all time. I don't think it can be beat. I think the way that thing builds just to that final button where, no spoilers, but, Elphaba is in her absolute element. I think it's an unforgettable moment in musical theatre. And Zoe Coppinger, who is playing Elphaba in this production here in Singapore, is we are so lucky. She is like top of the league. We have a musical theatre star here doing that. And to witness her perform that every night, I think that pays for your ticket price alone.
Oh, it's staggering. But then you're all brilliant. You're all fantastic. And I'm not alone in saying this. Listen to this. We've got a listener. We have listeners all over the world, Todd, including Australia. And Rob Salisbury, who I know is down in Australia, I think he's in Brisbane, he has said Ballarat has produced hundreds of millions of gold out of the ground since the 1850s. And Todd represents Ballarat's gold above ground for his generation. It's not bad, Todd, is it?
Well, I'll take that to the grave. That is a wonderful thing to say.
Oh, fabulous. All right, final question to you, Todd. Our listeners are paying attention all around the world. In a sentence or two, why should they go and see Wicked at the Sands Theatre?
Because it is the best musical theatre experience you will ever have in your life. You can hold me to that, and if you have an issue with that, meet me at stage door and I'll prove you wrong.
Fabulous. Todd Jacobsson, actor and star of Wicked, currently playing at the Sands Theatre from now until the 27th of April 2025. Get your tickets at all the usual outlets. Todd, it's been an absolute pleasure, and in the nicest way, continue to break a leg.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolute pleasure. That's Todd Jacobsson, star of Wicked, playing now at the Sands Theatre. Thanks, Todd.
Thank you so much. Bye.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.